people that have earned a lot of money in the NBA and were great players and didn't win championships are not forgotten. Have you forgotten about Patrick Ewing?
Nope.
I love PE 33. Did a lot from the Knicks in my childhood. He got to 2 finals. He didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a legendary Knick.
Yeah.
How do you think people in Utah feel about John Stockton and Karl Malone? They made a lot of money.
They love him.
They went to 2 finals.
Especially John Stockton. They love him.
They love him. They got statues outside there in the whatever Delta Solutions Arena, whatever it is out there in Salt Lake City. They love him. Okay. How do people feel about Charles Barkley?
Tracy McGrady.
Right?
Carmelo Anthony, who we just talked about.
Could be one of those dudes.
Yeah.
You're not going to be forgotten if you had an impact on the game, if you're great.
Especially if you have good character, which Dame seems to have.
Reggie Miller. I know some of these guys, some people's arguments push back to me. You'll be like, oh, well, they're still in the public eye. They are on TV and blah, blah, blah. You know what? No. When I think about Reggie Miller, if somebody says to me Reggie Miller, I'm going to think about what he did on the court. I'm going to think about him terrorizing my Knicks. When I think about Charles Barkley, I think about what he did in the cut. Same for Stockton Malone, Patrick Ewing. If Chris Paul never wins a title and makes a lot of money, doesn't mean I don't think he's one of the greatest point guards of all time.
Carmelo's not really in the spotlight now either.
Right.
We still.
Everything is not in the titles matter. We do judge you on winning or not winning, but everything is not just in the vacuum in terms of whether or not you will be remembered. People have remembered people who've lost. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work that way exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not like, oh, there's only the Hall of Fame for people who won titles. And I kind of feel like, and I don't want to put a whole bunch of words in Shannon Sharp's mouth, but it feels like he's intimating that Dame is just about the money. And I don't think that is necessarily the case. First of all, I will also say this. Shannon Sharp, Damian Lillard, as black man to black man, I don't personally like the knocking down of another black man who through his sport and who has done a lot for his community in Damian Lillard, knocking down the money that he has made that actually can go back to help the community of Oakland where he's from. I don't think that's necessarily cool because if Damian Lillard never wins a title and makes $400 million and then still continues to go on and do a lot to help his community, he's not successful.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a lot.
That counts for something.
Yeah.
It's bigger than just basketball.
Sometimes things are bigger than basketball. Sometimes things are bigger than what exactly is you do in your career.
Yeah.
I can never do another story in my life or tell another story about something as a journalist, but if I help other young people of color get opportunities to get in this game and do something, then I've done a lot. No matter how much money or awards I've won or whatever I've accrued, that stuff matters.
Yeah.
And I do think that needs to be said because it's not just about that. I understand that we judge people on winning championships in sports, and that's cool, but it ain't everything.
Yeah.
And so to some point, I feel like I can understand what Nasir Little is saying as well too, and Dame is saying. The one thing I will say that I understand a little bit where Shannon Sharp is coming from, things are a little bit different, and I understand where dudes are trying to team up. It isn't the same old NBA. One caveat I want to add before I let you get in on this is one thing I think we devalue in sports a lot is we'll look at these teams like Portland. Portland's this perfect example of a team because I was on this team with Portland last year. I was like, they don't do anything this year. We should break it up. There's something to be said in these smaller markets when you've made the playoffs for a whole bunch of consecutive years and you have continuity. You know what those owners want? Maybe they didn't win a championship, but they're getting people, and people fill the seats at the Rose Garden. That's a very strong basketball community out there. They have some continuity. We've seen what continuity with tweaks can do to have a team break through. We just watched a team win the championship who did that. They were continuous in the Toronto Raptors. They made a tweak. Yes, they went and got a top 5 player. I'm not saying that'll happen, but then they were able to break through. Continuity does matter to some degree. I think we forget that in today's society, and we always have to be like, oh, it's not working. We got to fix that. We got to change that.
Yeah.
In a way, I kind of root for Portland in that way. I hope that they break that mold of people.
Yeah.
We saw continuity get them to the Western Conference Finals. Some people are going to throw rain on the parade and say, well, they got a lucky draw. They beat OKC.
Nurkic was hurt.
No. Nurkic was hurt, and they still did that. They beat a good Denver team.
Yeah.
In the second round without Nurkic.
Yeah.
In a fantastic series. It was probably one of the best series of the playoffs.
Yeah.
They went and did that.
Game 7 on the road.
Yeah. Now,
CJ McCollum.
Were they overmatched against Golden State? Sure. But that doesn't mean we should rain on their parade of what they accomplished. Maybe something is growing in Portland. They're deep now. You said you liked the Hassan Whiteside move. We just talked about
We're going to get into that right now.
We talked about how on the wings they're deep. I'm just saying, like, I do understand the game is different and you might need that second star. Maybe Portland can trade. Maybe they get a Kevin Love like we've been talking about.
Right. And
maybe that's what happens. The story isn't finished, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And to your point about continuity, look, that mattered for OKC. They haven't had a bad season yet since they've moved to OKC. And they've been constantly good every single year, even though they didn't win a championship. That stuff matters. You're a Knicks fan. You remember what the 1990s were like.
I would go back. I would sign for that in a heartbeat again.
Like right now, if I promised you with this rebuild starting, like, yo, over the next 10 years, you're not going to win a championship. But every single year, you're going to be competitive, and you're going to have 2 finals appearances, a couple other deep playoff runs.
Sign me up.
MVP candidate as a franchise player.
Enjoy the good times.
Like, yo, I don't think everything needs to be based off of championships. And by the way,
because it's hard to win.
It's hard. Yes, it's hard to win. And look, Robert Horry is not better than Karl Malone. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that also.
Right,
like, I understand championships are quote unquote everything, but like, yo, we don't really say that the dudes that win the most championships are the best players all the time.
That's a good point. That's a fantastic point.
Like, it's like,
right, Steve Kerr is not better than Karl Malone. It's not better than John Stockton.
Right. Like we know that.
They're great role players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You tell me Derek Fisher's better than Damian Lillard now?
Yeah, and like, I don't love how the Supermax sort of handicaps the team, right, in terms of the salary cap, because it takes up a quarter of your salary cap.
I'm mad at the player for taking that money.
Exactly. And with Damian Lillard, it's like, yo, if anyone's deserved it from any team in that city or and for any market, it's him. And I think his game is going to age well. I actually don't think that salary situation is going to be as bad as it was in OKC and Houston.
No, I agree with you on that.
And Washington, by the way. But also, here's the thing with Portland. I don't know that they're not going to win a championship.
How do I know that? I don't know that.
Like, sure, on the surface, the Lakers are better on paper. The Clippers are better on paper. Utah, I don't know if they're better on paper, but they're deeper. I would say Damian Lillard is definitely better than everyone on the Utah Jazz right now.
That'd be a fantastic series.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
to see that right now.
Oh, yeah. Portland versus, sign me up for that. But I would say outside of the Lakers and Clippers, Portland is as good as, if not better than, every team in the Western Conference. So if you're right there, if you're close enough, a couple of breaks in your direction, maybe Hassan Whiteside is better than we thought. Maybe he returns to being the guy that earned that max contract from Miami to begin with. Because I think that's one of the most underrated pickups this offseason, as we just alluded to, with Hassan Whiteside going to Portland. Yusuf Nurkic is not there, so Whiteside's going to start. Heard somewhere that Damian Lillard's cool with Hassan Whiteside. So for that might be a good fit. But at the end of the day, they needed a big who can really, work down low, can really just doesn't need the ball necessarily like Nurkic. He was giving you 15 and 10 a game before he got hurt. Hassan Whiteside will give you more than 15 and 10. He'll give you some blocks. With Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum, Hassan Whiteside is exactly what they need from both the offensive and defensive standpoint.
The only problem with Whiteside is he tries to block everything and he gets in foul trouble a lot.
Yeah.
If he can calm that down, he will be fine. I, too, like the pickup, and I think he's going to – you know why I think he's going to be fine? Because in Miami, he was getting paid, his $20-whatever million a year.
It's different now.
And he thought he was that dude. See, when he comes to this team, Dame and CJ are going to be –
That's what I'm saying.
He knows he's not that dude anymore.
We talk about culture as it relates to the Nets and the Clippers and these teams that just hit it big. Portland has a really good culture as well.
But nobody talks about that.
But nobody talks about that because they've just been consistently good. It's not sexy and it's not cute. You know what I mean?
That's
like
a great point.
It doesn't make those headlines, and it's also in a smaller market. It's not L.A. or New York City or Brooklyn. With Damian Lillard there, I think Hassan Whiteside will get, for lack of a better word, in check. I didn't want to use that phrase, but I think people understand what I'm trying to say. And I think Hassan Whiteside is going to produce at a high level. Don't know what you really do when Yusuf Nurkic comes back, but he'll be coming off an injury. You could bring him back slowly, and you could sort of address that whenever the case is. And maybe you want to try to get Kevin Love on the back end. Maybe you just rent out Hassan Whiteside services and then make a trade in February. I don't know, but I think that's a good pickup.
I think they've got pieces to do that. And like I said, we always act like we know the finished product. We want to crown people champions.
Especially this year.
Yeah.
Like now parity is legit. Look, everyone last year was saying Boston, Golden State, and Boston would win. A lot of people were saying that.
A lot of people
and we know what happened with Boston. A lot of people were saying they're going to be a 65-win team. I thought that they were going to be good. And look, Kyrie Irving, not what I thought he was last season.
Here's the thing. You don't know.
We don't.
You don't know.
We don't. Is there another level to Damian Lillard's game he can get to? Yeah, I think he could be a better playmaker, and I think that'll help his team. Is there another level that C.J. McCollum could get to? I still think so. I still think so.
Right, but we just try to box things in the moment for what it is, and this team is stuck, and they can't do this. And you make a great point about Whiteside and some other moves they made this offseason. Portland's had the flexibility to make certain moves.
And they got Nasir Little.
Yeah.
Nasir Little at like 25 overall, who was one of the best players in the draft. If the 2019 NBA draft happened in 2018, Nasir Little is a top 10, maybe a top 5 pick. But because he didn't play that much in North Carolina and Roy Williams, for whatever reason, didn't sort of unleash him, he fell to late in the first round. That is a good pickup for Portland. That is a rookie that's going to help them right away.
Yeah, they're deeper than I think people are giving them credit for. They're going to be one of my teams I want to watch a ton on League Pass this year because of this. The problem is, hey, we talk, and I know we do this on this podcast. We speculate what we think is going to be and how it's going to be. Truth is, man, for all y'all out there, you don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're just predicting, trying to say what we think, but we don't know how things are going to develop.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Like, if Dame Lillard believes in what is building there in Portland, I have no shame for that man for believing that.
What's the problem?
You know, if he knows, then he knows.
Yeah.
In the words of Pusha T, if you know, you know.
Yeah. And
if he knows and he feels that way and believes in the guys that he's rolling with,
right,
and thinks that they're building something, which is what he stated before. I think we heard him say that on Chris Haynes' podcast.
Yeah.
Then
he doesn't want to uproot himself.
I don't think he
for
should
others.
I don't even want to use the word loyalty. I don't think he should be shamed, because I feel like that's what people are doing, for believing in his situation and betting on himself. I never have a problem with a person betting on himself, their leadership, and their front office and what they're
and
doing
stability.
around him. Stability. And there are moves they can make. They do have flexibility. It's not like this is not a team in a bad situation. I understand Dame will take up a lot of the cap pretty soon, but their situation's not that bad.
And the cap's going to keep going up. We'll see. So we'll see how that affects them.
Stop. The point is, stop acting like everybody you know. We don't all know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what's in these guys' head when they make these decisions. We don't know why they do what everything is they do.
Yeah.
If that man's playing basketball and he's happy where he's in Portland, more power to him.